I know last time I didn't have a mic, but this time I have a mic going. So, you guys feel free to ask me any kind of questions that you want. Waiting for some people to get in here to the broadcast. Let's see which Who They fans is up, which diehards is popping. Um, First I want to show y'all before I get into this game. Let's do that. What's up, y'all? First, I want to show y'all some cool things. I actually redid my entire Madden. Um, and before you guys say anything, I actually did this based on PFF. What's up, Sir Dom? What's up, Jazzy? Hey, make sure you guys subscribe to Jazzy TV. My guy just crossed 1,000 followers. Shout out to him, man. Who that? We gonna shock the world. Proud of you, bro. Um, but these ratings were based off of Pro Football Focus. So the way that I did this was I looked at the ratings and I looked at where our players um, basically finished in comparison to guys that were around them. So like Andy Dalton, he originally was like an 81. But he was, I think, better than Kirk Cousins and some other guys. So basically, I either made them just as good as those guys, or I aligned them with those guys. And then I also looked at their actual full ratings in terms of deep pass and things of that nature, and adjusted the ratings accordingly. For the draft class, I've always been into doing Madden draft classes. I don't like for them to be janky. Like, I'm a very anal person. Like, I get to the point where I make sure that they have on the same equipment that I see them in pictures. In terms of their ratings, I'm real anal about that. So I use two things this year. Usually I use the NFL.com draft profiles, but I've become a fan of this one website that's called Player Profiler, and it basically takes all of their combine attributes and their college production, and it kind of matches them up with a specific player that aligns with that. So I kind of use that this year. Ryan Finley, I have some of his ratings there. He's an overall 74. Joe Mixon moved up a point. I didn't really touch Geo. Rodney Anderson is a 73. Trevion Williams is a 71. Let's see, Drew Sample, I just put him at the H-back position. I don't know where they're going to play him at, but I just put him there over Ethan Carter because why not? Got AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross. On the last stream, you guys were asking me for Stanley Morgan, so I put him in. It looks like he comes in at a 72. Probably not going to be like that on the next Madden just because they think that he's an undrafted free agent. So, yeah, I've got him on there. I kind of want to see him get in, put Cody Core's bum ass on the bench. Let's see. Tight end, you got Eifert the same. Uzoma comes up to a 78. This is based off of the other tight ends that he graded out with on Pro Football Focus. Drew Sample comes in at a 73. Let's see, we got Jonah. Big Jonah's coming in at a 79. I don't have him starting at left tackle. I actually have him starting at right tackle. We got Michael Jordan. He's at a 72. Got him in there. Let's see, who else do I have? John Miller's in. Make sure that they all have the right jersey numbers as well. But Jonah's right there at a 78. So he's looking pretty good. Bobby Hart actually moved up. He wasn't, I mean, obviously we don't think that he's amazing, but he's better than what they had him on Madden as. So he's a 73. A lot of guys actually moved up. Let's see, John Miller, I moved him up based on his Pro Football Focus grade. Christian Westerman deserved a huge bump because on Pro Football Focus, he's one of like the top guards. So I moved him up to an area where he should be at. Carlos Dunlap got a little bit of a bump. Sam Hubbard, but this is like actually realistically how these guys should be rated if you look at what their actual production and their grades are on Pro Football Focus. It seemed like Madden kind of underrated these guys a lot. It wasn't much movement though. Like Carlos Dunlap's just in here for the NASCAR package, but we've got Renell Wren in here. Billings moved up a little bit, slightly, I want to say. Ryan Glasgow definitely moved up. The reason he's so low on this list is they actually have a RDT position. on this depth chart, so I'll put him there. Nick Vigil stayed the same. This looks like it matches up with what our roster really looks like. You've got average linebackers. Preston Brown almost moved down to a 74 for me, I'm not going to lie. And then you got Jermaine Pratt, another rookie. Malik Jefferson, looking at his Pro Football Focus grade, should actually be higher than he actually is as well. He actually outplayed Jordan Evans, which isn't a surprise. And not only did I move guys up, guys got moved down too, so there wasn't any kind of discrimination there. Jordan Evans definitely got moved down. He was horrible in coverage last year. William Jackson, 86. Drake Kirkpatrick, 80. Denard moves up to 82. That's about right. You look at B.W. Webb. He was pretty good, so he's a 78. Got the rookie Jordan Brown in there. Jesse Bates was almost criminal what his rating was on this game. They actually had him ranked below Eric Reed's brother, Justin Reed, which we all know he was, right there, the best safety not named Derwin James. So had to make sure he was right. Sean Williams, cool. Clayton Fedulum. I can't believe I said Fidelum. Fedulum definitely deserved this boost right here based off of Pro Football Focus. So that's what I did there. I just tried to make it as realistic as possible. We got some power backs here, slot receivers. Yup. And then the RDT, that's where Brian Glasgow goes. So I've got that. Then we got sub linebackers and all of that. So I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the roster. As you know, I'm not going to be playing, but I will be talking to you guys. So feel free to ask me any Bengals related questions or just questions in general. Doesn't really matter to me. A lot of people ask me why I don't play. It's because I am complete trash. I am complete garbage, bro. I used to actually be good in Madden back in the day. Before I started working a lot and started a family and stuff like that. Back in the day, I actually got to the point where I was like ranked, I think 300th or something like that in the nation. This was back on like PS2. But yeah, I'm not as good as I used to be, bro. I am complete trash. I would get on the sticks and probably throw like 4 interceptions. It's that bad. Possibly on rookie. That's how garbage I am. You want to know why I don't play these? Number 1, I suck. Number 2, it's because I don't want to have any kind of advantage over this game either way. I kind of want to see how these created players and stuff or edited players actually play out. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. Did a little tweaking with some sliders. I'm trying to get the most accurate experience that we can. We'll see how this works. Tried some that I found online, didn't really like them. So, yeah.
This is 3rd and 7.
Anyways, what you guys got going on? What kind of questions do you have for me? So you got about 10 people in here. Okay. Cool. RW Webb on the stop over there with Drake Kirkpatrick. I think RW Webb, after looking at Pro Football Focus, might be a little better than we initially thought.
They did, and obviously they liked his measurables. Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said?
I was actually talking to somebody today that kind of convinced me on Ryan Finley, man. He might be better than we actually think. We thought that he was a pretty solid pick for us. I mean, this is a guy that's a Bucs fan. He said that he's been reading everywhere that the Bengals had a great draft. A lot of people like that draft. So Dom says Taylor is bringing new energy. I definitely agree. I liked what I heard from AJ Green, man. AJ Green was actually on, for those who don't know, he was on Pro Football Talk, interview with Chris Sims, and that was pretty dope. He actually talked a lot about the new energy in the locker room. He seemed to like the fact that Zach Taylor is allowing players to listen to music loud in the locker room. He kind of encourages it. He brings a boombox in and he lets them listen to music at practice. Those things are important, man. It just speaks to like the two different energies when you have a guy that's in his 30s versus a guy that's like outdated. It just brings the spotlight on what is so good about having a young coach, man. The energy is just, you can just feel it from the players in the interviews. It's just like, you can tell that they're excited. They're not trying to like throw Marvin under the bus, but it's pretty dope, man. It's pretty dope to see. It's definitely a new day. I love what Taylor is doing, man. Like, Taylor is, I like the energy he's bringing. He's also backing up stuff that he says. Like, we don't get mixed signals from him. He's a straight shooter. He told John Ross that we weren't trading him. They did not draft a receiver in the draft. He told Andy Dalton that he was going to be the guy. He was a fan. We didn't take a quarterback until the 4th round, and the guy that we took is really just a backup. He's not a threat. So I like what Taylor is doing. I like the young coaching staff. I like how the players are reacting to him. AJ Green talked about him, that Marvin Lewis at the old practices wouldn't like for the offense to show up to defense, and that's just trash, right? That's probably what led to our defense finishing 32nd in the league. We should let these two units try to outdo each other. That's the only way that they're going to get better. Jack Adventures is asking, do I think John Ross would be better this year? I definitely think so. The reason why is because we have an offensive-minded head coach who, from what I hear, just listening to some of his interviews out there, has done his due diligence on John Ross, going all the way back to his film in college, looking at practice film, which is very interesting, to even looking at what he did in the last 2 years in the NFL, which hasn't been much. But I think that he will be a guy that can get the best out of John Ross. But I think one thing that this draft says is that the Bengals, after they just gave up a touchdown there, are going to concentrate a lot on using the run to set up the pass, and I love that. You saw them take Jonah Williams. You saw them grab a guy like Michael Jordan. You saw them take a blocking tight end that can do both. So clearly they want to run the ball. They took 2 running backs as well, so they are ready to run. Like, whether Joe Mixon gets hurt, anything like that, they are well ready for a situation like that, which we ran into that last year where they didn't have enough running backs, and you had guys like out of nowhere, old Thomas Rawls is, on the roster. That's how bad it was. So I think that was pretty dope.
Out to kick this
Under the new scheme, who's your offensive MVP guess this season? To be honest with you, I'm going to go with one that most people are probably going to say, and I'm going to say that it's going to be Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a big year this year. I don't just say that as a Bengals fan. You look at what he did last year behind a line that was decent pass blocking. I mean, they weren't amazing, but they finished better than they were 2 years ago, which wasn't hard. But they weren't really improved in the run game. And Joe Mixon led the AFC in rushing. I know that feels like a broken record. Everybody says that, but it's true. He led the AFC in rushing last year. While he missed, I believe, at least 2, maybe 3 games behind a bad line. So you talk about a much improved line. You talk about an emphasis on the run that's clearly being shown here with some of the draft moves, some of the free agency moves. I think that it points to Joe Mixon. You look at what Todd Gurley did for LA. That offense ran through Todd Gurley. Now, they did have good passing options in the pass game, but if you had Todd Gurley in fantasy, you know that Todd Gurley was the engine of that offense, and that looks like what Joe Mixon could be. And I'm kind of excited about this because I think as a whole, and I'm not just comparing Gurley to Mixon or anything of that nature, which I think they are pretty similar, at least on the same level. I think Mixon is way better as a catcher, but I think when you look at the overall picture, you talk about the running back room, I think they have a more talented running back room overall with the Bengals. So just imagine, you saw what C.J. Anderson and stuff did in that scheme. Just imagine what these guys are going to do. It looks like it's a running back friendly, tackle friendly scheme. These were the words that Zach Taylor used himself. So Okay. Hold on 1 second. The game is very loud.
On third down.
I got y'all. 1 second.
Loss of 7.
1 second. Let's see what I can do here. Let's move this microphone level up. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, fellas. Can you guys hear me now? Is it a lot better in terms of the audio? I'm gonna try to turn this Madden game down real quick. Sorry about the audio. I wish I would have known that earlier. It's better. Can you still hear me and the game, or is the game like still super loud? Let me know. See. Okay, cool. I don't know if it's just because nothing's happening now on the game that it's good or not, but sorry about that. So were you guys able to hear what I was saying about Zach Taylor? It's good now. Okay, cool. Basically, I was saying that Zach Taylor, I think is a great fit for this team. He's talked about emphasizing the run. I think that that's obvious now. So I think the MVP coming up this year is going to be Joe Mixon. You look at our running back room compared to the Rams room, I think that we have more talent. I'm not trying to be a homer or anything like that, but you took a guy off the street in C.J. Anderson and turned him into a superstar, it seemed like, last year in that playoff run. So you kind of get a good feeling that they can do the same in this offense. Now, before, I'm going to start from the top, so it looks like I missed some things, so sorry about that, guys. One thing that I will say is there was an interview with AJ Green where he talked to Chris Sims, I believe, about the differences in the coaching approaches from Zach Taylor and Marvin Lewis. And the thing that I think is important about that is they talked about how Marvin Lewis didn't want the offense to show up the defense, which I think was pretty stupid. They talk about how Marvin Lewis wouldn't let them play music and stuff like that in the locker room. It just showed how out of touch and how old, or just thinking-wise, that last coaching staff was compared to the new generation with these young players. It sounds like Zach Taylor is definitely meshing with these guys. This is a guy that's encouraging them to bring boom boxes and stuff in the locker room, play their music loud. I mean, that's how you bring a lot of camaraderie together with these guys. They get hyped together, things of that nature. So glad to see that happening. He also talked about having an offensive-minded coach, and Zach Taylor was ready to punch the defense in the mouth the first day. That's dope. I also talked about how Zach Taylor is backing up everything that he said. He's earning a lot of points with that. You talk about John Ross. The rumors of the John Ross trade came out. He quickly called John Ross, said that wasn't the case. They were ready to focus on him. He's been watching film on John Ross from college to practice film to game film. He's ready to fix John Ross, and he backed that up because in the draft, he did not select a wide receiver. So I think that's dope that everything is backing it up. Charlito says, which running back is number 3 on the depth chart week 1? Travion Williams or Rod Anderson? That is a great question. I think that the number 3 running back, believe it or not, I think that they will have to be, a special teamer. So maybe right now I give the slight edge to Travion, but I think Rod Anderson might be the more talented back out of the two, to be honest with you. It kind of depends with what they want to do, but I think if it's going to be a special teams guy, it's going to be Travion Williams as the third running back. Do I think Cleveland has our number or nah? Cleveland, I'm not going to lie, I'm definitely worried about Cleveland. Like, some people are like, oh, they always do this. I don't think they've ever gotten or had an offseason like this where you get a guy like Kareem Hunt and you also get a guy in Odell Beckham Jr. They went and got Greedy Williams, Mac Wilson. Their draft was kind of filthy. So I'm not gonna say that they have our number. We don't play them until week 14, I believe, and then week 17. We'll have to see. I think if anyone has our number in this division, it's Pittsburgh. I think we have the Ravens number. With the Browns, we used to have their number, but with this Baker Mayfield era, I think, you know, hopefully we can split with them next year. We'll see what happens. Oh my God, thank you. Sorry guys, I was running some picks this year, and I had Jason Tatum scoring 20 points tonight, and he just barely made it. But yeah, I'm here for you guys to talk about any kind of questions that you have about the Bengals. I have been tweaking these rosters. I'm still mad you guys couldn't hear anything I said earlier. But basically what I did was I updated these rosters to reflect Pro Football Focus numbers. So I looked at players that were you know, who finished near those guys or under those guys, and looked at what their Madden ratings were. And believe it or not, I found a lot of guys for the Bengals that were underrated. I also found some guys that were overrated that had to move down as well. So it wasn't just a situation where I was just increasing players. I also decreased players. So players that got decreases are like Jordan Evans and some other guys. Surrounded by Steeler fans, I don't think that they'll be as competitive as they were the last 5 years. I don't think they'll be as good. I still think that they'll be decent though, because I mean, they don't have AB, they don't have Bell, so they're not a threat in the AFC. But I still think that they are a team you can't really sleep on. Until we see what happens, until we see the full meltdown, I don't think that we can just say that the Squealers are just done. But I mean, as a Bengal fan, I would love for them to be done. I would love to go into Heinz Field and just 30-0 them. I would love for them to become the new Browns. But this is a regime that has a decent history of at least staying competitive. Is the sample pick growing on me at all? Not really. It still hasn't grown. It still, to me, was a Michael Jordan Space Jam reach. With that being said, though, I do understand why they might have pulled the trigger on it. Why they needed a blocking tight end, because it's an extension of the offensive line. I also think that it could spell that, hey, maybe they see Tyler Eifert as a guy that they want to exclusively line up as a wide receiver. Take those blocking duties away from him, and why not? I mean, this guy gets hurt a lot. Why even, you know, make him susceptible to injury risk by having him out there blocking? So I wouldn't mind if they do that. I just want this guy to get on the field. If that means he has to line up at H-back, that means that he has to just be out there. I just want to see the snap percentage match where we picked him at. Who did I really realistically want us to draft first? And do you think Devin Bush will be a beast? Realistically, that's a great question. I'm thinking about who was there. Let me look at my draft tracker real quick. Let's look at the first round. While I'm pulling that up, I thought we actually were going to have a chance at Devin White. I guess I was wrong. I thought that Tampa was going to be blowing smoke, but obviously they picked him. Obviously everybody picked him there, so it must have been something where they already knew he was going to be there. I didn't have any insiders for Tampa. I just had some friends that thought that they could possibly go in another direction, but obviously they picked him. Devin Bush was drafted. It's tough to say if they would have actually went Bush while Jonah Williams was there, because I didn't see a lot of people thinking that Williams was going to actually be there. So to be honest with you, I realistically probably thought that they were going to pick like Montez Sweat or offensive lineman. I'm just glad it wasn't the other one, that Andre Dillard. That would have been, oh my God. So honestly, I'm not mad that it was Jonah Williams. I think Jonah Williams was kind of realistic. if he was there. Ed Oliver just wasn't there though, Sir Dom. So if Ed Oliver was there, that would have been interesting to see what they would have done. But yeah, let me see. Going back, I think Devin Bush would be okay. I didn't really like Bush early on. He kind of grew on me leading up to the draft. We'll have to see if he lives up to the hype. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers thought that they were getting a guy that had a similar athletic build to Ryan Shazier. It's pretty obvious that he's probably not going to play anymore. So I think that's why they moved up. They were kind of missing that last year in the middle of the field. Jets overpaid for Mosley. Yeah, probably. That's probably about right. God, we're getting murdered. Goodness gracious. This is hard to watch, man. If you guys were watching the last stream, I got pissed and just turned it off. We were getting taken off on. Let me see. Let me get back to some of these questions. Do you think Stanley Morgan Jr. makes it on the roster in this new Zach Taylor offense? I think the kid is a stud. I think he has a really good chance at making it. This is a guy that, and I'm gonna probably sound like a broken record like all of the Cincinnati media. He's a guy that had 1,000 receiving yards at a school known for running the ball. He was the first guy to ever do that. I do think that he does make this roster. In terms of him making the roster, yes, I do think he makes it. Moving on, let's see. Why do the Bengals struggle against the Steelers? Even when the Steelers are at full strength, they still can't beat them. I think it's more so mentally, man. I think it's more of a fact that mentally they aren't prepared for the Steelers. They've had games and situations where they clearly should have beat them or won, and they kind of crumble. So I think it's more of a mental kind of thing, kind of like what we had going with the Ravens for the longest. But I think it's all about us actually believing that we can beat them. I don't think that talent is an issue. I think that it doesn't really seem like they're more talented than us. It's just more of a mental thing. So hopefully Zach Taylor, that's going to be his first test, is can you get this team to beat the Steelers? If you can do that, then we should be able to be good. John Doe says that Stanley Morgan was the receiver he wanted, period. I feel like Auden Tate can become an option in the receiving core. Use him over Cole any day. We'll have to see, man. Hopefully they do their thing with him. We're gonna really see what they think about Tate. Obviously they must think highly of him because they didn't draft receivers. Is it possible to bandwagon the Bengals? We definitely have people that jump on the bandwagon. I'm not sure how long they stand on it for, but you talk about years like 2015, 2013, 2005. There's definitely been some Bengals bandwagoners that jump on. 25 touches for Mixon per game. I don't know if I could go with 25, but maybe 20. I just think that the Bengals had a gift and a curse of having a good running back room. So it's like you want to give Mixon that many carries, but do you really want to wear him down when you have so many other, talented running backs? Do you like the Ryan Finley in the 4th round pick, or do you feel we could have got a better quarterback? After talking with one of my friends that I really respect his opinion, he's not biased, he's not a Bucks fan. I mean, he's not a Bengals fan, he's a Bucks fan. He's also an FSU fan, and Ryan Finley obviously played in the ACC. He's a big college guy, and he told me that he loved the Ryan Finley pick. He actually believes that if given the opportunity, Ryan Finley could even possibly be the answer, or could be a guy that could supplant Andy Dalton, which I thought was very interesting because I have not heard that from anybody. Everybody has basically said that he's just a guy that's a career backup. He seems to feel like he's a very smart quarterback, and surprisingly, he said that he ranked Finley third after Kyler Murray and Dwayne Haskins, which kind of blew me away. He wasn't really big on Drew Lock, so I thought that was very interesting. Definitely seems like Finley is a guy. He said that Finley does not make any mistakes. He's a very smart guy, and he said he values that because he's a Bucs fan and has watched Jameis Winston completely turn the ball over. Even talked about how Jameis turned the ball over 5 times against us. Those things lose ball games, so if Finley can do that, then I'm good. Hey, I appreciate it, Charlito. Definitely, brother. Appreciate that. Keith, I'm gonna have to go with the second one, my friend. Well, no, that's actually, I like the first and the second one. I like probably the first one first, though, bro. First one you listed first, then the second, then the third. If I had to power rank those are actually in the order. Because, man, you can have number 2, but if you look like, if that face is just not there, bro, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for me. Some people it's not a wrap for, though. But for me, nah, man, that face has to be on point. Did we do enough with the defensive line and the linebackers to get the running game and the tight end game? Okay, I got you. So basically you're saying that we grab enough linebackers and defensive linemen to stop the run on defense, and did the linebacker solve the tight end plague? I think we might be able to hopefully get the running game down. Some interesting things I heard is that Jermaine Pratt might not be the best against the run, but he's good in coverage because of his athleticism. I was told that he's an athlete, but he's kind of one of those goofy kind of athletes, so one of those guys that might not be able to control his speed. But it's crazy because I heard the exact opposite from Pro Football Focus, so I respect my guy's opinion more, so I'm going to go with his. I think if he can use his athleticism to get him in the right place, then he should be good. The tight end plague, I don't know if that's over, man. I have to see it for me to believe it. Do you think we should have gone for a full rebuild instead of trying to compete currently, says Isaac Yanes. I don't think that this was a team where you needed a full rebuild. You look at the talent is there. I think the problem was coaching. They weren't getting enough out of this team. Now we're actually going to really see if that's the case. This wasn't a team that needed a full rebuild. Now you look at somewhere like San Francisco a few years ago, that team needed a full rebuild. You look at the Titans probably 4 or 5 years ago, they needed a full rebuild. Jets last year, that's a team that needs a full rebuild. They're not really going anywhere. This team can go places. This team is talented. They just don't. They just weren't getting the best out of the talent that they had. So I think we should be good. Bengals bust or who? The entire 2015 class except for CJ Uzoma. Like, there's literally nobody on that team anymore. Do you believe or have any insight on our new coordinator? Lou Anaromo, or whatever his name is. Seems like a good guy. Came from the New York Giants. Was once a coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. I believe a year that they got rid of Joe Philbin. Their defense ended up top 10 that year. So we'll have to see what he can do. Christian, I do not play with anybody, bro. I am complete garbage. I would have thrown like 5 interceptions by now. I used to be good at Madden back in the day. This was like PlayStation 2 back in the day. So I actually suck now. I am garbage. You would murder me. Plus, I would not be able to play with the new rosters. So, but yeah, if you're just joining, thanks for coming and kicking it. This is me allowing the, oh my god, allowing the computer to play each other. I've been trying some settings here with computer versus computer. sliders, and I don't know. I don't like how they're working because obviously we're getting murdered, but we'll see. Yes, you would. Anybody in this chat would beat me in Madden, bro. Just no lie. I am complete garbage. I've probably actually played this game myself maybe twice. You would murder me. I don't even know. This is all I buy Madden for, is to just do the Bengals stuff, to be honest with you. I used to be a die-hard Madden guy. I used to be ranked like number 200. And then life happened, bro. Not gonna lie. Not saying anybody that plays Madden doesn't have a life, but like when you get older, man, it's just like you work so much. And for me personally, I have a family too, so I usually can't even get on the main TV because I don't want to hog it from anybody. You know, kids want to watch cartoons and stuff like that. Nobody wants to watch me play video games. Now maybe when my son gets older, I'll get back into it. But it's just not my thing anymore. I am pretty good at 2K. I don't know if any of you guys play 2K. 2K is a game that I'm really good at, to the point where the game doesn't change that much, to where if I pick it up right now, I could probably dust a lot of people in here on 2K. Not gonna lie. Why was Hobson talking like Malik could be getting beat out, like cut status? Is that really bad? Yeah, that's really bad, and it's not surprising. When you talk about Malik Jefferson last year, the problem wasn't his athletic ability. The problem was him being able to process playbooks. So, Stefan, you play 2K? What team do you play with on 2K, bro? Stefan Diggs. I'm an NFL player, not a Madden gamer. That ain't the real Stefan Diggs. I have to believe. Nah, bro. Nah, there's no way. You have one subscriber. No way that's the real Stefan Diggs. If it's the real Stefan Diggs, bro, that's dope. If so, add me on here. If not, still add me. Oh, okay. I was gonna say you're not the real Stefan Diggs. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, bro. Like, I do play 2K. I used to run with Kyrie a lot last year. Reggie Nelson was a stud. Yeah, he was. Still, man, we let him go, but now he would be like 36. So, Jesse Bates made me forget Reggie a little bit. Reggie is still gonna always be that dude for picking off Big Ben every play. Big Ben be throwing them big picks. Reggie used to be out there. That was like, he was like, remember how Troy Polamalu was for Carson Palmer back in the day? That is exactly what Reggie Nelson was for Big Ben. Could always count on him to get an interception from him. He just knew Ben. Would love to bring Reggie Nelson back when he's done with football as a secondary coach. That would be dope. Speaking of Reggie Nelson, he can still be playing. Is he still playing? Is he still on the Raiders? Let me look. He's a free agent. He might be done, bro. He might be done. If you can't even play on the Raiders, it might be a wrap. We are getting murdered. This is one of the reasons I cut the stream off last time. This is ugly, guys. Yeah, he's 35. Reggie Nelson turns 36 in September. Hey, appreciate the sub, Stefan. Why is this team so cursed in Madden? Gotta be the Marvin Lewis effect. They still think Marv's the coach. Must be some call to the AI that's just like, Marvin's still there, they're trash. Terrell Suggs is always in Big Ben's nightmare. He knew how to hurt Big Ben hard. Big Ben feared him. I can see that. Man, one thing that I have mad respect for the Ravens for is, man, they have Pittsburgh's number. It's like, it's almost crazy because, like, that's how the division works. Like, sometimes, for the most part, recent years, not like the Ray Lewis every years, but in recent years, we've had the Ravens number. The Ravens always have the Steelers number. The Steelers have our number. The Browns were uncompetitive. Everybody used to have their number. Now the Browns are competitive. Who's going to be our four safeties? Jesse Bates, Fedulum, Sean Williams, and I'm going to say Trayvon Henderson. I think a lot of people forgot about him. He actually did pretty good last year in the preseason.
They should have gotten more out of that, though. He was wide open.
I love how emphatic you are with that call, because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Let me get to some more of these questions. I have to pull up my phone.
They cost themselves some yardage there.
Do you think we should have drafted a quarterback in the first round? That's a good question. I think at the end of the day, though, given the circumstances that we had, no, I don't think a first-round quarterback would have solved the issues with the line. And I say that because we picked Jonah Williams, right? But then when we got to the second round, there was a run on linemen. So unless you were going to try to trade up to the top, you would have ended up with a trash offensive lineman in the second. So hindsight is 20/20, but it shows that they made the right decision not drafting a quarterback that early. And they made the right decision with Jonah because they get the best offensive lineman out of all of them instead of rolling the dice on those guys that landed in the second. That could mean that they aren't that good. I don't hate the Ravens or the Browns. I'd rather see them lose than win, but I just really hate the Steelers. I agree. I think that there's actually a mutual respect between Bengals and Ravens. What the hell is this AI doing? That's like the second pass that you're throwing out of bounds. Like, I don't know. Like, that's another reason, man. Madden is like trash now. Why is the AI so bad? Like, the AI in 2K is amazing. But why are you throwing two passes to Tyler Eifert, who's wide open out of bounds? This game just makes some weird decisions, man. I don't know what the hell the score is, bro. 24-0. It is garbage. Let's see. But yeah, I think there's mutual respect between the Bengals and the Ravens. There's no disrespect there between the fans. We respect each other. Teams respect each other. With the Steelers, it's just a lot of bad blood, man. It's just, I mean, I think a lot of it may be gone now that Tez is gone. But it still was bad blood before he got there.
Seen a whole lot of wide open receivers. Everything seemingly has been contested.
What? How did he drop that? I don't know what is up with this freaking offense, bro. It's just crazy here. What the hell was that? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Madden went from awesome in like 02 to nothing but crap. Bro, that was the days that I used to play, John Doe. Like, you talk about 02 through like, in my prime, probably about like all the way to like Madden 07. Like, those were prime years, bro. Those were prime Madden years, in my opinion. Who do I think we should sign in free agency? That's a great question. Let's see. Let me look at remaining free agents.
Linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Pulling it up now. Yeah, we're definitely slept on, bro. Definitely slept on. And Ndamukong Suh is still out there. We're not gonna sign him. Y'all already know. I'm not even gonna lie to you and get your hopes up. Ziggy Ansah, I'm not sure. Zach Brown just got picked up today by the Eagles. Eric Berry, they probably won't do it. Trey Boston is only 26. They might think about him. Donald Penn is too old. He's 35. Nick Perry, it's more of a sack guy. I don't know if they give him a look. Shane Ray is a guy that I think you should at least bring in and see what he can do. They didn't pick up a edge rusher. He could be a guy that they could target. Michael Crabtree, I don't see him coming in. You know, there's no need. Wide receiver room is already pretty good. I think that's it. Hold on.
Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the
Anybody ever play NFL Quarterback Club 95 on Sega Genesis? Oh man, I heard about it, but I actually was a Super Nintendo guy. But I heard that was a good game. I briefly remember that.
Sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
Yeah, Ravens did pretty good in the draft, bro. I'm gonna have to get him a shout out on that. Ravens always draft good though. Like honestly, I feel like the Bengals and Ravens and maybe the Browns recently in this new era are the best drafters in the division. Like the Ravens always get guys where I'm like, damn, I wanted that dude. Like it was a running back that you guys got. Justin Lane, I believe. That was a good pick, bro. That was a good pick. There was a joke that we had, and it's not a shot at your team or anything, but it was like the Ravens always get the guys that you think are gonna be like beasts, and then they like don't live up to it. Justice Hill, thank you. One example is Matt Elam from Florida. I wanted Matt Elam so bad, bro, and he ended up being a super bust. Tim Williams, I'm hoping that he breaks out for you guys. I thought he was going to be a stud. I wanted Tim Williams a couple years ago. There was another guy from Alabama. He was like an edge rusher. I can't remember his name. He was a bust. Plays for like the Falcons or something now. Oh man, but it's like it's not that these guys are like bad. Like when I see them coming out of college, I'm like, these guys are amazing, and then like they just don't live up to it. But they still hit a lot in the draft, bro. Lamar Jackson was a great pick for you guys. I mean, the Ravens always put together solid drafts. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. The good run on 1st down.
Everybody thinks we finna be trash this year, and I don't see how. Yeah, I don't think that we'll be trash, man. Like we've had a couple of bad years, but when you really think about it, the bad years haven't really even been that bad. Like you talk about some teams where they have bad years where they win like 3 games. We've never been that bad. Good God, we're getting smoked in this game. Oh my goodness. This is horrible. Apparently Madden agrees with the rest of these beat writers around the NFL. Goodness.
And my friend, I think it's safe to say that this game
yeah, it's like you look at the Cardinals. The Cardinals were complete butt cheeks last year. Aaron, how do I switch the view, bro? Like, is there a way to actually do that with it being computer versus computer, or no? If you know, definitely comment and let me know, because I was really trying to do that before the game came on, because I really don't like this view either. Yeah, if we get it together, we should be good, man. New coaching staff, I think, is a very good move for us, bro. Yeah, okay, this is better for CPU. Yeah, CPU versus CPU. Your boy is trash when it comes to Madden. I just always keep it on CPU versus CPU, but this damn game makes me want to pick it up. William Jackson will have a breakout season. Yeah, man, I think William Jackson is already pretty good, bro. Like, he's straight. So, let's see. Thank you, Mr. Jason Tatum. If the defense plays decent, we'll at least be pretty good. Yeah, I think so. I think, man, the offense needs to help the defense, just like Zemhude says your best defense is your offense. If you can hold on to the ball and and you know, keep the offense on the field instead of having constant 3 and outs, getting the defense gassed. I mean, that's the best thing to do.
And you know, Brandon, when they do those, they talk about the top plays that these guys like to run. The best runs for the top running back, those are the ones you focus on and want to take away, and they've done that pretty successfully in this game.
The Bengals haven't done anything successful in this game. What the hell is the commentary talking about? I'm really hoping that our run game will be scary good this year. I definitely think so.
For a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good
set in the main screen all the way to the right.
So the sack, and now it's 3rd and long.
Okay. You're talking about from the PlayStation settings, like how there's the comments there, or what are you talking about? Just a straight up Madden camera view.
Be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. It's a pickup of 13. But
the only reason I pulled up the chat right there was just to see what you guys are saying, but that would be clutch if I could move the actual chat.
A 6'6" target.
It is indeed.
It would be cool if Lamar could work on his chemistry with Marcus Brown this offseason.
They really do.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. What the hell was that? Yeah, Lamar. I think that must be to do with the kick power. Lamar definitely should fit well with Brown, man. Brown's a speedster. He didn't fit as well with John Brown. I think John Brown, though, was one of the guys that he actually had a pretty decent rapport with, or was a guy that kind of fit him in terms of that deep threat, more than the guys like Michael Crabtree. So I think if he can work with that guy, man, they'll be good. But I think the best receiver for Lamar, believe it or not, I think is actually your tight ends. I don't know what that is, but it's like with the Mike Vick type quarterbacks, they always use that tight end safety blanket. But I can't wait to see Lamar Jackson take the next step, man. He's gonna have a full off season where he can actually establish himself as a quarterback, actually take reps with the first team. A lot of people forget that he was lining up at receiver last year, most of practice. Didn't really get a chance to actually you know, get in there and have a full grasp of his offense. That was an offense that was put together in 2 weeks, so was not advanced. So this is going to be a big offseason for him. More TD predictions on the year. Ross, Boyd, or Eifert. I'm going to go with Boyd, man. Boyd broke out last year. It could be Eifert, because obviously when Eifert played in 2015, he had like, what, 16 touchdowns? I just don't know if Eifert will stay healthy. Let me see. Did you hear Rich Eisen say, "Don't worry, Bengals fans, we'll be back for your pick"? Yes, he did. Yeah, bro. I'm glad they finally have heard us, because they stayed going to commercial, bro, every freaking time we pick. So I'm glad we've let them know. Stay on the network when we pick, because it was like literally every single year they would go to commercial. Like if you were ever watching the NFL draft, they would always go to commercial when the Bengals pick. So I'm glad we let them hear about that. Thank you, Rich Eisen. That was dope. I did see him say that. I think he tweeted something about it.
And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. That'll be a loss of a yard, and it leads to a third down.
Man, I'm glad that I was able to actually talk to you guys, because it distracts me from this horrible score here. So I'm probably going to wrap this up after this game, but it was dope talking to you guys. Would love to do it more. Let me know in the comments what kind of content you guys want me to post. Kind of filling things out right now. I had some changes with some of my computer hardware, so I don't have all of the same software, and I have a new computer, new equipment. So I'm trying to put together stuff that I can. So if stuff is spotty, that's probably why. But I still will try to deliver content to you guys. I know it's a slow time right now. This is why you guys come to me, is mostly during this downtime. I'm usually the guy that's still pumping out content. I did recently do an interview before the draft on the Orange and Black Insider. Be sure to check out their channel, subscribe over there. Those guys are dope. Anthony Conzenza, John Sheeran, those guys know what they're talking about. They also are affiliated with Cincy Jungle. Be sure to check that website out. Check out my man Zim Hude, the BBP. Shout out to all of those guys. Right Way Network. He has a podcast as well. I was a guest on his podcast as well. Be sure to check that out. Anybody that I'm missing, I think Bengals_NFL or something like that on Instagram has a podcast as well. Check them all out, man. Check them all out. We're all fans. We all love the Bengals. Hopefully we're not going to have a season like what just happened right here. I don't even know if Cam Newton is even going to start the season next year. So let's see, 58 passing yards and 20. That is horrible. I don't know how that can even happen. But you guys take it easy. Love you guys. And as usual, it's Hude all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.